Hi there, my name's Nicole and I'm coming from Invermere, BC today. I am preparing a spinach and pancetta frittata starring, of course, Philadelphia cream cheese. So let's get started here. Over in my pan on my oven, I've got it warmed up just a little bit, and I put in a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil, and I'm adding in one medium onion that has been diced and a cup of sliced mushrooms. Then in a second pan over here that's been preheated, I have 200 grams of pancetta, which is the Italian bacon that comes in circles and you often get in your deli department. And I've diced it into cubes, and I'm going to fry that up until it's just nice and brown and getting a little crispy. So that's going to go into the second pan here. Okay, so the mushrooms and the onions and the pancetta have each been cooking for about 3 or 4 minutes. The mushrooms are just starting to brown up and the onions are getting just so nice and soft. So when we see this happening, that's when we can add in our 4 cups of fresh spinach. And it's so exciting at this time of year because the spinach is actually starting to grow fresh. We have a community greenhouse down the street, and the spinach that's been in that greenhouse is amazing. So we're going to turn the burner down just slightly on the onions and mushrooms, down to, on my burner, it's about a 4. And we're going to add in the 4 cups of fresh spinach. And we're going to give it a light stir. Try and get that spinach a bit closer to the heat and start to incorporate the mushrooms and the onions around each other. Now this spinach won't take that long. You'll find it'll reduce in size quite a bit. It'll take about maybe 3 minutes is what we're looking for. We're just looking for the spinach to get soft and a little bit wilted. So while we're waiting for that, in the meantime, my pancetta is now nice and crispy and starting to turn a little bit brown. Pancetta, so good. I'm just going to put it in a bowl here that I have some paper towel in and just let a bit of the extra fat drain off just for a couple minutes here. So this is what we're looking for the spinach. It still has a nice bright green color to it, but you can see how much it's reduced in size. I'm going to put it back on the burner and just keep it at a low heat just to keep it warm. But I don't really want it to cook too much more. So I'm going to turn that right down to just low until we're ready here. Now in my bowl, my mixing bowl, I'm going to crack in 6 eggs. There we go, that's 6. And to that I'm adding 1/3 cup of milk. And I have a 1/2 teaspoon of pepper and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. We'll put that in the bowl. We're going to give it a good whisk. Now the great thing about a frittata is it's kind of a main dish for many meals. You can make it for breakfast. You can serve it for brunch. And my kids' favorite, when we have breakfast for supper, the frittata is an excellent entree that goes alongside pretty much anything. The other great thing about this frittata is it's so versatile. I've also made it up to this point and put it into a deep dish pie dish, set it into the fridge overnight, and then it's ready to go first thing in the morning, and you can pop it right in the oven without needing a little bit of the extra fussiness at the stovetop to be right there. So it's very versatile. But in this case, we're doing the stovetop version of it. Okay, so I've got my eggs nicely whisked up. I'm going to go back over to my pan that has the spinach, onions, and mushroom. And I'm going to take my Philadelphia cream cheese. I have a 250-gram brick, which I have then broken up into small little bite-sized morsels. They're pretty small. They're probably like a centimeter by a centimeter. You want it so that when you're eating in your frittata, you get nice little nuggets of yummy, cheesy goodness. I'm just going to sprinkle that chunks of the cream cheese all over my spinach. Try and distribute it evenly throughout the pan. Oh, this smells so delicious. I wish that my video camera had smell-o-vision. Then I also have 2 tablespoons of freshly chopped cilantro. That's just going to add a little bit of a kick to the flavor in the dish. Spread that all around evenly as well. I'm going to grab my pancetta that I drained on my paper towel. And we're going to sprinkle that evenly over as well. This is such a nicely layered dish. It looks so beautiful, just like this. the colors, the green from the cilantro and the spinach, and then there's the lovely white coming through from the cream cheese, and then of course adding the nice pink pancetta on top of it. Oh, it looks so good. Look, you just need to take a peek. Look at that. Delicious. Okay, so back to the burner we go, and I have grated 1.5 cups of cheddar cheese. Now this cheese, I happen to be lucky enough that a friend of mine just brought me from a hunk of a wheel of farm fresh cheddar cheese. So because it's off of the farm, it doesn't have any of the coloring, but it still has the flavoring of like a mild cheddar. You could use any type of cheddar for this. You could use, if you prefer the mild, or even a nice older sharp cheddar cheese would be really nice. So I'm going to take 1 cup right now, and I'm going to sprinkle it over top of my mixture in my pan. Once again, trying to sort it out evenly here. Distribute it all over. And then I'm reserving 1/2 cup of cheese for right at the very end here. Okay. And now the fun part. We're going to pour our eggs on top. Give it 1 more whisk. I'm going to turn the burner back up to medium-high. I like to do it right around 5 on my burner, but of course you'll know your stovetop's best and what works best for that. And we're going to take our eggs and we're going to pour it all over. Now the egg is going to sink in between all those nooks and crannies, in between all of our vegetables and our pancetta, and of course our cream cheese. We can give it a little pat down so everything is nicely enrobed in the egg. And now we let it cook. So our frittata is going to cook on this stovetop on a medium-high burner for about 10 minutes. You'll see as it starts to cook, it's going to start setting around the outside edges, and there will still be some raw egg in the middle. What you need to do is, taking a spatula, you're going to gently lift the sides away where it has started to cook. Just gently dig down, and then you're going to give your pan a little bit of a tilt and let some of that raw egg run off. And I like to do this in different spots all over the pan, just so that we don't get a well somewhere else of egg that hasn't cooked yet. And you'll keep doing this for, like I said, about the 10 minutes until we have the frittata mostly set. When it gets to the point that your frittata is almost all set and there just seems to be a bit of raw egg mostly in the middle, probably about 7 minutes in, you're going to turn your broiler in your oven onto high and get it preheated. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. Okay, so my frittata's been cooking on the stovetop now for about 10 minutes. I know that it's ready to throw in the oven because I can no longer tip it and have liquid run off to the sides. There's just a little bit of runniness and a little bit of gooiness right in the middle, and that's okay. That's where the broiler comes in. So when we get to this point, I'm going to take my last 1/2 cup of cheese, give it a nice little sprinkle right over top. This will set a really nice crust on it. And then I'm going to throw it under my broiler for 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, so I just took a peek in the oven under the broiler, and that frittata is looking amazing. If you could smell what it smells like in here, it's incredible. I'm going to put on my oven mitts and we're going to pull it out. And I'll give you a quick peek. Look at that. It's sort of, like I said, like a quiche, but like an omelet, all mixed in together to one. So I'm going to let it cool down just for a minute here, plate it up, and I'll let you take a look at what it looks like inside. And voila, that's it. That's how easy it is to make a frittata. We have spinach, pancetta, mushrooms in this one, but it's so easy to mix up with any of your favorite vegetables. Try grated zucchini, grated carrot, or whatever flavor combinations that you and your family will enjoy. So you can serve this up for your next breakfast, your next brunch, or even maybe your next breakfast or dinner. Thanks for cooking with me today. Enjoy!